Hey everyone, how's it going? So what am I working on now? I have a what the heck year is this thing? I don't even know. 2014, I think? Yeah, 2014 Ford Focus ST. A little souped up hot rod here with a 6-speed. Anyway, customer's complaint is of a check engine light. And they went to auto something parts store, and they scanned it for them. And they told them that they need a purge solenoid. So I got in it. I never go off what anybody else says. I've mentioned that in the past. I never go off what anybody else says. If you want me to go off what somebody else says, completely on you. I'd rather diagnose it and know what's going on. So, got my little S600 scanner here, and I just want to show you something here. The codes are not for the purge solenoid. Doesn't mean it's not the problem. Could be a common problem. I don't recall on this vehicle. I know they do have purge solenoid issues, but for some reason I could have swore on these, if they have purge solenoid issues, it will set rich codes, but I could be completely wrong. That's just what I'm thinking. But I just want to show you this, which I find kind of neat with this little scanner here. And this little scanner is just a little inexpensive, like for the driveway DIYer, and it works pretty good for that, but it won't give you everything. Like on this, it'll only give you PCM, body control module, and ABS. It won't give you anything else. There's other modules in this vehicle, but it will not give you anything else. And this is actually very good for like resetting services and stuff like that. But anyway, so let me show you. These are the codes. PO171. Okay, System 2 Lean Bank 1. So there's freeze frame data and stuff like that. What's interesting is the little question mark here, which I find this kind of neat. So I'm going to highlight this, and I swear I think this is a cell phone mounted in this case. I don't know, because it's very cell phone-ish, if you know what I mean. So anyway, I do that, and it brings up this. So you could find YouTube videos. You know, basically it's like what are common causes and stuff for this. So yeah, it'll bring you to YouTube. I might not have enough internet connection to do this. Let's see. Yeah, I can see it working up here. There's not enough internet connection where I'm at. But it'll bring up the video and allow you to look at it. You see my internet connection is almost non-existent right there. Yeah, see, network not available. But that's only because of where I'm at. But I find that kind of on the neat side that it actually gives you that information, allows you to go there. It's not advanced enough to give you like actual breakdown of what to do to repair it, stuff like that. None of my scanners except my Snap-on actually have that kind of information. So, but anyway, I just thought that was kind of neat. I'm going to go look up these codes and find out what's a common failure for this, for lean codes. Normally it's a vacuum leak or it's a air leak between the mass air meter. I don't know if this has a mass air meter. I have to check. Between the mass air meter and the throttle body. But we're going to find out. So let me look this up and see what's going on. I wound up switching to the K10 because it's just easier for me to read. The other screen is like way too small. You gotta remember that other screen, for me at least, it's only this much. So trying to read these two on there. Now this is long-term trim, this is short-term trim. What does this even mean? Long-term fuel trim is basically the amount, it's like it adds fuel. So we're up near 30, we're at 29.69. It's adding fuel. It should be hovering right around 0. And it's adding to it. And even if you look here, it's adding to it. So this is short term. This is what's happening right now. This is what happened over a period of time. So it's been adding fuel, but why? I don't know. If it was in the negative, like taking fuel away, then I would have rich codes. So, but it's seeing that it's running lean, so it's adding fuel to it. Could it be a purge solenoid? Yes, it could be. I kind of doubt it, but it could be. This is going to be a vacuum leak, an air leak, dirty mass air meter. That's a very good possibility. Fuel pressure is another thing that can cause this. But I'm going to doubt very highly it's fuel pressure, because he's got zero drivability issues. But but it's always a possibility. But here you can see the short-term trim dips, but it never dips below 0. It should be plus or minus 3, let's say. 3 is a little on the high side, but plus or minus 3 is usually acceptable. So you'll have, it adds 3 or it reduces or pulls away 3. That's usually fine, but here it never really goes below 0. So, see that? We're right down at the 0 scale. So, but it's always adding to it. So, but why? That's the question. So what I think I might do is I wonder if I can clear all adapts and see where it winds up when I'm driving. Let's see. Clear fault memory. You want to clear? Yes, I want to clear fault memory. Okay. Now, hold on a second. Let me just see something here. Let's go back into, well, actually, what's in special functions, just out of curiosity. Relearn vehicle data. Let's see, relearn vehicle data before a bit. I'm looking to basically, oops, no, I didn't want it to start. Take my foot off the clutch. All right, let's see. Okay. Off. Okay. All right, let's start it up. Let's just see what the actual data reads. We'll save the data that I was looking for. Do I gotta select it again? So I'm looking for long and short term. Long-term fuel trim right there. Short-term fuel trim right there. No, it didn't clear it. It stays. But if you notice, like that's going a little negative now finally. So I may have to actually drive this thing. Okay, let's go to graph. Nah, it's still staying above 0. Oh, there it goes. It dipped down a little bit. All right, let me take this thing for a ride. I just want to go up the street real quick. I don't want to see if it changed anything. But it's actually jumping now. Look at this. It's adding almost 4. All right, you know what? Before I go on a road test, let me look underneath the hood. Another thing that causes issues like this, believe it or not, a lot of people don't realize this, those aftermarket cold air intakes that I told you I can't stand to begin with, aftermarket cold air intakes, because they usually use an air filter that has that's an oiled air filter, and the oil gets on a mass air meter, can actually really skew the readings. So I've seen that plenty of times. So let's go up underneath the hood here. Okay, so it doesn't have a cold air intake. However, it does have a K&N in it. K&N's a good filter, but people over oil them. And this one looks like it's a little on the hurting side. Could use a cleaning, but if you did notice too, oh yeah, there we go. Okay, it's gonna sit like that. Okay, no, I was just thinking that wasn't sealing correctly, but it is. This cover was just sitting on it, actually, yeah, like that. Not that it really makes much of a difference, but in this case, you're not going to get the effect of the air getting pulled through the grill. You're basically pulling air from underneath the hood. I'm going to pull out this mass air meter and I'm going to clean it. So I'm wondering if it could just be dirty. All right, let me get what I need to pull that out. We're going to clean it real quick. My original thought was this was the mass air meter. It's not. It's the mass. It's the intake air temperature sensor and map sensor. So I'm sorry, it's just a map sensor, not the intake air temperature sensor. But if you see it, it's pretty darn dirty. I'm going to clean it anyway. It doesn't hurt while I'm here, but now I got to figure out exactly where is the mass air meter on here. I'm not 100% certain. I got to look for it. Sure, it's here somewhere. Now to clean it, all I do is I use this. But you get the general idea. I'm going to pick it up. I can't do this and film at the same time. I'm going to pick it up and just spray it out really good and put it back. So I'm going to take this thing for a road test, but I wanted to show you something. I found on the seat the paperwork from the auto parts store place. So they wanted to replace the canister purge solenoid. Remember what I said about how usually when a purge solenoid goes bad, you have a rich condition, not a lean condition? So I want you to see this. This is what they tell people. So P0171, of course, it doesn't give any more information beyond that. Just this page here, which doesn't really say much of anything. And it's for this vehicle. However, how it works, okay, it regulates the flow of stored fuel vapors from the charcoal canister to the intake manifold. Also prevents fuel vapors from the fuel tank and carburetor fuel bowl from escaping into the atmosphere. Carburetor fuel bowl? Really? Okay, let's keep going. When it doesn't work, a failed purge valve can allow the engine to draw in raw fuel, resulting in a very rich mixture, black smoke from the exhaust, and increased fuel consumption. That's not a P0171. It's not a P0171. So, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? It's a lean code, not a rich code. So they're completely wrong. So, like I said, sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're 100% right. But it's just a guess. That's why I always say diagnose your problem. Don't just throw parts at it. Apparently, we got another vehicle coming in where somebody threw parts at it. We got two of them, actually. We'll discuss that as the time comes. One is a biggie. But, all right, let me take this thing for a road test and see what happens. Tell you what, this little thing's got some get up and go. I used to own a Neon SRT4, and I thought that was a pretty fast little front-wheel drive car. This thing's pretty quick too. But here's the thing: when I first got on it, it huffed black smoke out the tailpipe. Huffed it. Let me get going here. Hang on. Yeah, and like now it's not huffing black smoke, and I think the fuel trims have improved. I gotta find a place to pull over, but let me pull over somewhere up here and see if I can't look at these fuel trims. And what will cause that? I don't know. Easy driving? Maybe. I don't know. All right, let me find a place to pull over. Okay, so oddly enough, the fuel trims are actually okay right now. I don't know if I mentioned, one of the big things is fuel with too much ethanol in it can create this issue. It's got a half tank of fuel. I got to find out from the customer when the check engine light came on. But now, after getting on it a bit, and it blew out all that black smoke, the fuel trims are more to the negative side. The long term takes forever to upgrade. Or update, I should say. But here, if you look at short term, you can see what I'm talking about. Because now, like, I can actually click on this. See, like there's 0 right there, and it's just above, just below. So that's actually perfect. However, long term is staying up high. So clearing codes, obviously, I did clear the codes. Clearing codes doesn't change this, but this was up around 29 and something. So, and now it's down to 28, and those numbers are staying pretty darn good. So, why did the exhaust blow out black smoke? I mean, like somebody rolling coal in a diesel. You know, just heavy black smoke came out of this thing. Injectors are another known issue for this. But I honestly think that we should probably look to changing the upstream O2 sensor first. Like I said, from what they're saying with the PO171 and being a purge solenoid, completely wrong. So, like I said, be mindful of that when somebody just, diagnoses your vehicle with just a code. It's not the way you do things. So this, judging by everything I'm seeing, I wonder if I shut it down and restart it, if it'll change anything. Hang on. Let's see. Oh, this might run me all the way back now. Yep, I hate when it does that. I should have backed out, but I didn't. All right, let me load this back up. All right, so yeah, back there. And like I said, you can't reset the fuel trims there. If I disconnect the battery to reset it, but it's staying lower. And judging by the fact that this is up and below, or above and below 0, see that? Like I said, it should be in the first place. I'm gonna say, in all honesty, maybe some high ethanol fuel got in this thing, and it contaminated the upstream O2 sensor a little bit. And driving easy with this may have caused carbon buildup. I don't know. I'm going to recommend changing the upstream O2 sensor and going from there. But that's, I don't think they call them a mass air NO2 sensor. I think they call them I can't think of the name of it. Air fuel ratio sensor. So I'm going to recommend changing that, because I got a funny feeling it's a little skewed, and me getting on it helped it out. But of course, like, if I was driving this every day, it probably would never have that problem. But all right, that's where I'm going to have to go with this. Let me call the customer and see what they want to do, and then we'll go from there. So I spoke with the customer, and the customer does want to do the air fuel ratio sensor. They said that makes a lot of sense to them. I guess they belong to a bunch of groups and stuff for those RS Focuses. I had to order it. It's going to have to be after the holidays, because the customer doesn't have time to leave it. It got too late in the day, stuff like that. It's actually the next day right now. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to get that sensor and put it in. I'm pretty confident that's probably the cause of the whole problem. But I just wanted to show you too that you can't always go by what the parts stores readouts tell you, because that makes no sense. And even if you read the description, it makes no sense. They're trying to sell you a part that isn't even part of the problem. Could it be? I guess anything's possible, but like I said, I've never seen it. But yeah, all right. Well, that's it. Hopefully you got something out of that video. If you did, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. And if you look down in the description, you'll see I have links to Amazon products down there. I would appreciate it if you guys could give it a click. I'm not asking you to buy anything. Just if you can give it a click, it does help me out. It's a little something that just helps me out. All right, guys. Hope you had a great day. Keep wrenching.